I think the Lord wants the gospel to go forward. I don't think that I know it. He wants the gospel to go forward, and he's more concerned about that than even we are. But he knows that the way that happens, like the first thing has to be us at his feet.
So many Christians want to share their faith, but don't realize that prayer is the missing key. Today, I am with my friend Naomi, and she's going to be stepping into an incredible full-time ministry role at Prayer House. She's going to be their outreach director, and she's going to be teaching other Christians how to share the gospel, as well as helping and connecting with local churches so that they can deepen their prayer within their local community. And so, yeah, this is my friend Naomi. All right. So my first question for you, Naomi, is what role has prayer played in your walk with Jesus?
Yeah, I think when you ask that question, well, my understanding of prayer completely changed at a conference I actually went to in 2023. It was like an end of year conference with a church in Dallas. And one of the pastors spoke about prayer, and he described it as being simple communion with God. And again, I had always understood it to be conversation-based, the kind of thing where like, almost like you have to be talking to God for it to be considered prayer. But what I didn't understand is that it could just be like simple, like the simple act of just sitting in silence and like listening for him and existing with him, like that can be prayer. And so when you ask like what role prayer has played in my walk with Jesus, I would describe prayer at its very simplest form. It's communion. It's just being with God. In whatever way that looks like. I think that can take different forms. That can look like petition, that can look like intercession. And yeah, prayer can look like different things, but at its core, I would just say it's communion. And so communion is not something that's necessarily played a role in my walk with Jesus. I would say it is my walk with Jesus. It is our walk with Jesus. It's the point. I think it's the point of relationship with him.
I love that mindset shift of like prayer isn't just play a role in your walk with Jesus. It is your walk with Jesus because it is to be with Jesus.
Yeah.
I love that. And even just distinguishing like prayer doesn't have to always be you talking at God, but also sitting in silence and listening. I love that. That's so good.
Yeah, that's good. I think we actually receive so much more if we, I think we've received so much more if we just actually spent most of our prayer time with God, like in silence.
Yeah.
Like if we sat with him for like, I don't know, 50 minutes and it was just complete silence and the last 10 was us like actually like maybe bringing to him whatever we had at the top of our minds. Like I actually think that we would leave like so much more refreshed, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How would someone practically do that, you think? Because our brains go everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, practically? I mean, if I'm just kind of like letting you into that for me, like sometimes I like will put on a worship pad and I don't know, it's like, that feels very centering, and it actually like gives my brain something to listen to while I'm like sitting with it.
That's true. I never thought of that.
Yeah, that way my mind is not like, I don't know, trying to find something to like listen to, if that makes sense.
Think about.
Or to think about. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, I would say a lot of the time, like it just practically looks like putting on an instrumental. And this is sometimes what I do is I literally picture me like when it talks about like the mind that is set on the flesh is death, but the life or the mind that is set on the spirit is life and peace. Sometimes I literally like picture me like taking my brain out of my head and like setting it on God in my alone time with him.
I love that.
So yeah, I just think, worship pads are great.
And your imagination,
the intentional act of setting your mind on him. And sometimes just having your word open to kind of like keep you focused and anchored in your time with him, even if you're not like reading it like the whole time. Just like even simply having it open in front of you can be helpful.
Yeah. So I love that so much. My next question for you is have you seen examples where prayer has made people more open to hearing about Jesus?
Yeah. Well, I would say, when I'm out sometimes, like at the grocery store or I don't know, like just around shopping or even at the gym, and the Lord will often regularly, he burdens my heart for people that I just like strangers that I see just like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when he just pricks my heart to just like go and to approach someone to tell them about him, sometimes what it'll look like is me going to the person and just being like, hey, as I was passing, like I believe in Jesus, and I believe that he wanted me to share with you that he loves you. And I was wondering if you've ever heard that before, it's crazy because a lot of the
Yeah.
time there's some people who have said like they've never heard that God loves them, which is insane, which is literally insane. But
Wow.
and so yeah, from that point, I'll just, by the leadership of the Holy Spirit, I might go into sharing the gospel, but sometimes it literally just looks like me asking them, like, hey, can I pray for you? Or like, hey, like, as I was passing, God highlighted you to me, and I was just wondering if there's anything that I could pray for. And what's crazy is that more often than not, people will say yes. Like,
Yeah.
most people are very open to receiving prayer. Even if
It
they're
will
not
blow your
Christian.
mind. It will
Yes.
blow your mind the way that people are so, like, strangers are so willing to let you pray for them.
Yep.
Sorry, go
No,
on.
no, that's so good. That's so good. Yes.
Like, I've experienced the same. I'm
Yeah.
just saying had the same experience. I've never had someone say no if I've offered prayer.
Same. I don't know that I've also ever had
Yeah.
anyone say no. So actually, I can think of one instance.
I can think of I like
one instance
I
that
can
came
think
to
of
mind.
one.
I had one instance that came to mind. And it wasn't me, it was my friend, but it wasn't even, it was just like, whatever. But yeah, and so in praying for the person, sometimes, you can ask them like, hey, like, what do you need prayer for? And they'll tell you, and most often it's probably something that's a little vulnerable, right? Because they need prayer for it. So
Yeah.
I think in those moments, the Holy Spirit actually gives you wisdom for how you can kind of just like plant seeds of the gospel
Yeah.
based off of what they share with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even do that as you're praying for them.
Yeah. Exactly.
And even if you don't, like, after I've ended the prayer, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, like, do you have any, like, if the person has time,
Yeah.
I'm like, do you have any spiritual background? Like, do you believe in God? And then the conversation can kind of just go from there.
Yes, it just completely opens the conversation because most people are willing to say yes, you can pray for me. And then once you end your prayer, you can full on have a conversation with them about their spiritual background. Or you can encourage them with whatever. If they shared something vulnerable with you, you can straight up right then and there and be like, I know God cares about this and he cares about you. Like,
come on. And sometimes
Yeah.
sharing the gospel doesn't always have to look like the specific, like, 4 points of the gospel. Like, yeah.
The certain steps of how you share the gospel. Like,
Right.
you don't have to go straight in like that. You can also just love on people by offering prayer.
Yes.
It's a lot more neutral to
Yeah.
offer prayer in a way because it's not you trying to preach at them. You're like, hey, I'm trying to help. Like, I care about you. It's a way of saying I care about you.
Yes,
you know?
totally, totally. Which is God's heart.
Yeah.
Like, that's God's heart for people.
Yeah.
He cares about people. And I think too, like, it can look like the 4 points. It can look like, okay, God loves you, sin separates, and Jesus bridged the gap, and he
Yeah.
wants relationship with you, and you can have that by grace through
Yeah.
faith. Like, it can look like that, but also I think when you're connected to the Lord's heart, again, prayer is communion. So if you're communing with the Lord, if you're abiding with him and connected to his heart, he will give you understanding and vision for how to, like, he will give you the words to, like, preach the gospel in a way that's, like, almost personalized and geared towards that person, to where it's not even like the 4 points, but maybe you start the gospel off in like a completely different place that you never would.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The other day I shared the gospel, and he brought a verse to mind, and it was a verse in James that said, he yearns jealously for the spirit he's made to dwell in you. And that's not like the beginning that most would, consider the beginning, like Adam and Eve sinned and there was the fall, and like, okay, you can start there. But sometimes, again, when you're connected to the Lord's heart, he will bring you into his heart for that person. And maybe he'll put a verse on your heart, or maybe give you an encouraging word to kind of like start off the gospel with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the gospel is the good news.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you can share it in a way that's kind of I don't know what the word is.
Linear.
Yeah, you can share it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, you can share it in a way that's linear, but even if you start off a place that you wouldn't normally think is like makes sense to start off at, it's like God knows he knows what's good news, and he knows what like a person needs to hear in that moment too. So I think like we can trust in him, especially as we evangelize, for him to like minister to that person's heart exactly in the way that they need. So I would even say, just like, even when we go out in evangelism, like our greatest tool in that is him. It's like being connected to his heart. It's being in prayer and communion with him when you go out into the world, and he'll show you how to do it. Yeah.
Something that my husband and I do, I can't even remember the exact saying now. It was, my husband was a youth pastor for a while, and at the church, they had this like, almost like a cultural rule of like, if you hear a need, like you pray, like right then and there. And so if this feels intimidating to you in a way to be like, just go up to a stranger and be like, hey, can I pray for you? One way you might do it is if someone else brings you into that conversation of like, if someone else brings up the need, hear a need, pray for it.
That's
right then
very
and there.
good.
I feel like it's a different saying. It's a catchier saying. I'm not saying
that's
it right.
catchy. That's good. That's good.
But so like one way that this has happened a lot for me and my husband is in the gym, because we love to go to the gym. And so one time there was this girl who she was asking if she could use the machine after me, and she made it sound like, I don't know what it was. I can't even remember what she said, but she just basically in a way told me that she is not doing okay. She's unwell. And so I was like, dang, I'm like finishing my set so that then she'll come and take the machine after me. And the whole time I'm like, all right, I know I have to pray for her.
Wow.
So she comes back and to take the machine, and I said, hey, like, you said this, like, what did you mean by that? Is it okay if I pray for you? And so she said yes, and I prayed with her right then and there in the gym. Come to find out later, we ended up swapping numbers, and I would see her in the gym every now and then. Come to find out later, like, she was a Muslim, and I got to pray for her in the name of Jesus.
Come on.
And while we didn't quite get to a salvation point with her, I know that I was able to plant a seed, because she even shared something that she had a problem with another Christian. There was a Christian in her class saying like, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. And she's like, how dare you say that to me? I'm a Muslim. Like, don't you know we're so devoted to God? Like all these things. And I was like, well, technically, according to your faith, I'm going to hell. Isn't it a kindness that he's telling you and warning you? Now, is he doing it in the right way? I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know the situation. But it kind of made her think a little bit, and it kind of opened up her heart just a tiny bit.
Super good. 'Cause it's a real life example
Yeah.
of like prayer leading into a gospel moment.
Yeah. And in a way, I got to, share parts of the gospel with her, because, obviously, if you do not believe in Jesus, the consequences are hell.
But I think it was great that she got to experience like, and she might have like maybe had a negative experience with that Christian in her class. But I think, like seeing the compassion you offered her in that moment through prayer. It was probably like good for her heart.
Yeah. So if you hear a need, if someone expresses any need to you, offer prayer right then and there. Because in the way they're bringing you into that moment, and it's a way to share God's kindness with them.
That's the best way to love someone.
Yeah.
That's like better than anything I have to give. Yeah.
So a lot of Christians want to share the gospel and evangelize, but they get really nervous and even fearful and anxious. What is the connection between prayer and boldness for you?
This is good. This is an exciting question, because I will just be completely honest with you that I believe the Lord is like right now using prayer to free me from fear.
Wow.
Fear of man specifically right now. And so again, when we talk about prayer, meaning simple communion, abiding, literally just like being like connected to the vine and like being aware of like God's nearness and presence 100% of the time. Even as I'm talking to you and like talking with you, like I am completely aware of the fact that he is here, like in the room, not even in the room, but he's like in me.
Yeah.
And so like he's with me right now. And that's the very thing that actually frees me up to be myself.
Wow. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, bro. I'm literally learning. So what I tend to do is like, I was an overthinker, like super like just in my head about so much, especially when I'm like around, I don't know, groups of people, like social settings of people that I don't know. Like I can tend to really go inward and like overanalyze just like the way that I'm acting or like probably being perceived. And so a lot of the time I don't know if you do this, but sometimes like before I'd walk into like a room or like a party or an event of some sort where I'm like having to meet new people, I would like try to pick a frame of mind to walk into the room with, like, okay, I just gotta be myself. Okay, I'm gonna walk into the room. Or like a different frame of mind is just like, okay, I just have to like consider others as like more significant than myself. Okay. And then I just like walk into the room.
That's
or it's
good.
like I just have to like, I don't know, like I've been freed from fear. I stand above it. Like it's been put under my feet because I'm hidden with Christ in God. Okay, head into the room. And so I would like, but even in that, I was kind of overthinking because I would almost like roulette and like pick a frame of mind to like walk into a room with. And I would just like, even like in those social spaces, just be like focusing so much when I'm like talking to a person. I'm like thinking,
Yes.
okay, I have to consider them as more significant. I have to blah, blah, blah. Like literally in my brain. I know. I'm like, I can be, I was like, very much an overthinker. But literally
Yeah.
what I have learned as of literally this week is that because I sat in a moment of silence with the Lord and I was just like, what do you want me to be aware of when I'm in a space with other people? And he said
That's
me.
good.
He said, I want you to be
Wow.
aware of me. And I was like, but Lord, I do that. Like, I feel like I try to find you in a space and I tried to set my mind on you while I'm in a room with other people I'm not familiar with or don't know. And I feel like that doesn't work.
Wow.
But I just, as I was sitting in that with him some more, he was like, yeah, you just like, you need to live a life that is characterized and marked by abiding, and not abiding like when you need it, when you need to go into a space, but it's like literally your spiritual diet and intake when it comes to like even music you listen to or like social media, like replace all of that with me, like live in me 100% of the time. That's what you were created for, is to remain in the vine. Like if you're on social media and you're like your mind is over here and you forget that like okay wait it's like our minds, like our bodies, like now that we're like new creations in God, like we are actually created to be in him and aware of him 100% of the time. And so when that becomes our spiritual diet, like when abiding becomes like the frame of mind through which we live, like I've been learning in that it's actually like that completely frees me up to be myself because I'm connected to his heart 100% of the time. And so it's in that I'm like, oh, I come under his heart for me. And I've actually learned identity in a completely new way too, where he's spoken like specific things that he thinks about me, not just the fact that I'm a daughter. Yes, that's true. But like specifically what he thinks about me, how he's created me. And it's all these things together, you know, him speaking like specific identity over me, abiding, and all of these things together. Again, this is prayer. This is prayer. It's community. It's existing with God. And this is actually propelled me into boldness. And when I say boldness, I don't even mean like this like fiery, like I'm a lion, like I don't know, but I literally am like, it's just freedom. I literally just picture it's for me, boldness, it's just the freedom to be me, the freedom to just like
confidence.
Yes, it's confidence. It's like confidence that comes from knowing who I am in him. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes
but it's abiding, bro.
It makes perfect. Abiding is so
bro, abiding, bro. Girl, literally, when I was like, when the Lord told me the answer was to abide, I was like, I forgot that you make things so simple for us. Like, I don't know why I was thinking I had to like, literally, I've prayed for so long for the Lord to free me from fear of man. I was like, Lord, would you kill the fear of me? And I always thought like it would take years, like that I would have to be in my 40s until I like actually got over that. But he, in that moment when he told me like, you just need to abide in me 100% of the time. And you're not going to be perfect at that, but like, just make it your intention to live with me and to do life with me. Like, again, I'm aware right now at the fact that he's here or of the fact that he's here. And I was like, oh Lord, I forgot that you make things so simple for us. Like you are so like complex in the way that you are. Like you're like, you know what I mean?
We overcomplicate.
Yes. We overcomplicate things, but he's so kind as a father to make them like simple for us.
So two notes on what you said. One, I was listening to this podcast and it talked about the centipede something, I don't know, the centipede effect, I'll call it. I don't remember. But basically, so if you take a centipede and you ask them, which of your 100 legs moves the fastest? All of a sudden, it like doesn't know how to move. It's like, I normally do this, but now I'm overthinking it and I don't know which one is the fastest. And it's kind of this idea that like, when we focus so hard on something we do naturally, we overthink it and it actually hinders our results. So when you're going into a room and you're thinking like, okay, I have to think like other people more, whatever than like, now you're overthinking it. It's a centipede effect. What you would do naturally by abiding in Jesus.
Come on.
Now is being hindered. And the other thing that I thought of as well, there's this quote from Stephanie Gretzinger. Actually, she's not the one who said it. She quoted someone else, but I heard it from her. She says, the further into the glory we go, the less we can take with us. And so like, you want to grow in boldness, you want to grow in prayer and evangelism, like growing and maturing in your faith. The less you can take with you.
That's so good,
and
man.
that's what you were saying, like how you realized, okay, if I'm going to abide in Jesus 100%, there's less that I can actually take
Yeah.
with me to go
Wow.
further into the glory.
Come on, that's good.
And
Wow.
the further into the glory we go, like the more these things will happen naturally. There will be
Yeah.
a natural burning inside of you where even where is it in the Bible? I think in Acts where it talked about how their hearts burned within them.
Yes.
Like that will happen naturally
Yeah.
as we abide.
That's so
Yeah.
good, bro. Bro, and what's wild, even as you mentioned that, like the further into the glory you go, the less you can take with you. For so long, I've been feeling the conviction, for me specifically, that like I needed to like just really lessen my time listening to like secular music. Not that it's anything like crazy, but just like music that isn't like Christian or
Yeah.
worship. That I needed to like really, really like be aware of my intake with that. And then also social media. Like those are two things that I and the Lord, like he's for a long time been like, you specifically, Naomi, need to like really let these things go. And for me, that's a hard thing because I love music. And I also
Yeah.
just like, okay, I hate Instagram, but I also kind of love it. It's like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah. And I think I'm realizing why now that it's like why he told me that those things were important for me, because I think they were directly correlated to fear. Like, because with me in music, it's like sometimes when I'm listening to secular music, I become very self-focused and I'm like, I don't know, like I'm a dreamer and I'm like an imaginer. So like, I just like, when I listen to music, I just think of like I just like go inward. I'm not like focused on Jesus and I'm more focused on me. I'm more focused on the self than I am on him or anything. And then with social media, it's the same thing. It cultivates a focus on the self. So now I understand why he was saying those two things in specific, because they were cultivating a focus on the self, which makes sense that I would deal so much with fear of man, fear of what people think of me, because I'm so focused. I'm like, my diet was consisting of things that made me look at myself. So yeah, it's like, it's so true. If we want to journey deeper into him, there's things that you're gonna have to let go of. But it's good. It's a good sacrifice.
It's
because it means
good.
freedom. It means freedom from fear of man and from fear of whatever. Just anything.
Yeah. And one thing that I've been like learning in my walk with Jesus is if there is anything that is keeping us bound, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Because in Jesus, we have complete freedom from everything. I am a slave to nothing but Jesus alone. And so if there is a fear of man that you are experiencing, there's something wrong. Like there's something to journey deeper with the Lord, because we shouldn't be bound by anything.
Wow. That's so good.
Well, Naomi, I am just so excited for everything that you are stepping into. I would love for you to tell us about Prayer House and your role as outreach director and what that's going to look like day to day.
Yeah. Oh, so exciting. So yes, at the end of this month, I will be running full time with a ministry called Prayer House. So it's a missions organization, and our mission is to plant and sustain prayer rooms all across the world. We wish to see the body of Christ built up and sent out through prayer. And it's really our heart to see the local church awakened by the love of God again through prayer and worship. So to bring the heart of prayer and worship back to the local church. So again, today as we talk about like prayer being communion, I think that, man, the church has its systems or maybe its structures that we've built in our own like man-madeness and like strength. And I think systems are good, and I think order is good, and I think God is a God of order, and he loves order. But I also think that our strategies, a lot of the strategies that we've implemented when it comes to, I don't know, not recruiting, I'm sorry, but just like, getting people to come to church or reaching the lost, like a lot of these strategies would become much more effective if they were like strategies that we received from heaven. Right. And so I think the strategies can be good, but as long as like, okay, that's vision that we've received from heaven, and that happens in communion, that happens through prayer, that happens through being connected to the heart of God. And I think that there's an invitation to come out of striving. There's an invitation to the local church. Like Jesus is like, like just like speaking to his bride, and he's like, there's an invitation to come out of like the Martha-ness of like this. You don't need to, that only one thing is necessary. Mary has found it and it won't be taken away from her. Like we just get to like sitting and beholding Jesus and like knowing him, being known by him, like just knowing how much he loves you, being a receiver of his love, like walking with him, doing life with him, every simple, like the mundane, the simple, the exciting, everything. like everything flows from that place. Our individual lives and like ministries as believers, it flows from that place, but also on like a church level, at a church level, like a bride scale, like everything that we do for the Lord, it
Yeah.
flows from that place of communion. It flows from knowing. And I think that we would be much more effective in sharing him with the world if we were first connected to his heart.
Yeah.
And so that's the vision of Prayer House, is like creating a practical way for people to experience the Lord through prayer and worship. And so that's what prayer rooms are. It's simply a gathering space for people to come and experience the Lord. I actually experienced the Lord for the very first time in a moment of prayer and worship. So my heart like burns for this. Like I was
Yeah.
touched by God for the
Good.
very first time through a moment of prayer and worship. And it's my heart that other people would come to know him in that same way. And it doesn't have to look like the same environment, but I just know that like those environments, it's what it cultivates that a lot of the time. And a prayer room is really just a space where God feels welcome, where he feels honored, where he feels welcome to come and stay
Yeah.
and dwell. And it's like if he's there and someone's walking into the room and they've never heard of Jesus, or maybe they've done the whole church thing their entire lives, but have never really like experienced relationship with him, and they walk into a room where he is, it's like, okay, well, everything changes.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And it's from that place that we're empowered to go out and to share him with the world. I often say this, and I think I just said it earlier, is that he is our greatest tool in sharing him with others. So yeah, so that's Prayer House. It's a 6-month mission school where we have 25 missionaries come every 6 months, and for the first 3 months, they're getting poured into. They're being taught how to build and to sustain, or to build, plant, and sustain a prayer room. They're going to be taught how to minister to the Lord through worship. Worship not just as something, okay, like we sing on a stage, but like how to live a life marked by
Yeah.
worship. And then they're going to be taught how to take what they received in the prayer room and how to take it out into the world. And that's my role as an outreach coordinator, is I get to
Yeah.
help kind of facilitate that flow of like, okay, the coming in, and like, okay, we like are like loving on the
Yeah.
Lord through prayer and through
Yeah.
worship, telling him who he is. And we're getting touched by God ourselves. And so it's from this place of like communion and presence, but we function out of that place and go out into college campuses or grocery stores or malls or cafes, wherever the Lord will send us across the world, commissioned from that place of presence. The Lord has taught me is that there is the Great Commission, right? Like to go and to make disciples of all nations, but the first commission is always his presence. It's always
Yeah.
into his presence, and then
Yeah.
we're sent out from that place by him. So as an outreach coordinator, I will be teaching our missionaries like how to share the gospel. I'll be leading an outreach track every Thursday from 11 to 2 p.m. And I will also be leading our evangelism initiatives, outreach initiatives. We're going to be planted in the city of Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where our base is, our missions base is. And after those 3 months of equipping and discipling, our missionaries and our staff team, we're going to be split off into groups and sent out across the U.S. into different regions. And we are going to be planting houses of prayer across the U.S.
Wow.
and in partnership with local churches, because we love the local
Yeah.
church and we want to see the local church come alive again to just the heart of God and his movement in the world. And I think the Lord wants the gospel to go forward. I don't
Yeah.
think that I know it. He wants the
Yeah.
gospel to go forward,
Absolutely.
and he's more concerned about that than even we are. But he knows that the way that happens, like the first thing has to be us at his feet. And so that's like what we wish to, I guess the culture or the attitude or the posture that we wish to like help usher the local church back into, or just like the attitude that we wish to see come alive in the heart of the
Yeah.
local church again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of an overview
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. That is so amazing and so needed. And if your heart is kind of burning within you when you hear that vision being casted of like sending out missionaries, going into local cafes, schools, malls to preach the gospel, and you want to support this kind of missionary work, this role for you is fully supported by donations. So if you could just share with them how they can partner with you in this.
So yes, I am a full-time missionary, and so my income is fully supported by donations. And I'm currently in the process, before I leave for Wilmington by the end of the month, of building a team of monthly partners, people who wish to come alongside me both financially and through prayer. And so, yeah, if your heart is stirred to give, there's some links in the description box
Yes,
down below.
all the links to give to her will be in the description box if you want to make a donation or even give to her monthly. Something that I really encourage with all of my spiritual coaching clients is to adopt a missionary. Adopt a missionary. So this can either be committing to prayer for a missionary, but also if you're able, committing to giving. I believe that all of us should be adopting a missionary, having someone that we are, supporting and partnering with, because the missions is so important. It is the Great Commission. So if you want to make Naomi your adopt a missionary, the missionary you want to support, then definitely either be praying for her or commit to giving. And Naomi, where else can they find you on the internet?
Oh, yes. I am Naomi Grace Bell on Instagram and on YouTube. So, yeah, if you wanted to connect with me or find me on socials, that's where I am.
Yes, and the link for her socials, you can definitely want to check out her YouTube channel. That will be linked below. And if you guys enjoyed watching this video, then definitely you can watch this video next. It'll be up on the screen. Basically, it's a video that Naomi and I did where we share Naomi's testimony, how she gave her life to Jesus, and also a ton more evangelism tips. So if you want to continue, go deeper with us on this topic, definitely watch that video. And we will see you, well, I will see you in the next one. Perfect.